A frustrum is a three-dimensional object that has the shape of an incomplete cone or a cut-off cone. So examples of frustrums are buckets and lampshades. Now, as you can see from this diagram here, this is the shape of a bucket. This is how a bucket looks like. The large with cylindrical with circular shape at the top and at the bottom, and the top circular shape being a larger circle than the bottom circle. Now you notice that if actually this slant height that forms the side of the bucket is being extended, you discover that at the end of the day it's going to form a cone. So the assumption is that a bucket is actually a shape that is being cut out, an object that is being cut out from a complete cone. So it just the same like a lampshade. If you look at this lampshade, you see that when you extend the slant height at the sides, it's still going to come and form a cone. So now this assumption is necessary if you want to solve or want to calculate the volume of the frustrum. Now, like I said, a bucket is just like a cone that has been cut from below. Now, so that's why if you want to look for the volume of a bucket, the formula you are going to use, the way you are going to look for the volume of a bucket is equal to the total volume of the cone that it will have been without it being cut. It's assumed that the bucket is cut from a cone. So that cone which is cut from, the volume of it, you are going to subtract the cut out cone that has been cut from it to make a bucket. You are going to subtract that cone from the whole cone it will have been if this has not been cut out. So essentially we are saying the volume of the big cone minus the volume of the small cone. That means the volume of the cone it will have been if it hadn't been cut minus the volume of the cone that was actually cut from it to make a bucket. So you can see that if this was cut from this whole cone, then you have a bucket. And so that's why our volume is volume of the big cone minus small volume of the small cone. Now, like you know, the volume of the cone, the formula for getting the volume of cone is 1/3 pi r square h. So that's what you're going to use for the big cone, and that's what you're going to use for the small cone. But here there's a difference. The big R, the capital R that you are seeing here, is actually for the base radius of the big cone, and the capital H you are seeing here is also the big height. That's the height of the whole cone. So now don't forget, this is a whole cone from the top to the bottom. Here we are not even talking about the height of the frustrum. We are talking about the complete total height of the cone, of the big cone. And here the small r will represent the r, the radius, the base radius of the small cone that was assumed to have been cut out, and the h will represent the height. Now if you look at this is a representation of the label. Now the label can be put here as you've seen, and it can also be put at the other side. It's meaning the same thing. Now note the h, the small h is the one in the red dotted line. That's the height of the small cone that was assumed to have been cut out. The x, the one in black, is the height of the frustrum, the bucket. Now you agree with me that if you want to calculate the height of the big cone that is represented with h, the one in yellow line, you are going to add this x, the height of the frustrum, with this h, the height of the small cone that was cut out, to get the total height of the big cone, and that's how you're going to get your h. So now, like I said, the height of the big cone is equal to the the height of the frustrum plus the height of the small cone that was assumed to be cut out. But most of the time, you won't be given this height, the height of the small cone. This height, the one in the red, the height of the small cone will not be given to you, and even it's only the information about the frustrum that will be given mostly in the questions. So you'll be the one to extend this slant height to make a complete cone. Therefore, the height of this small cone will not be given in most cases, so you have to calculate it yourself. Now if you bring out the radius, all these radius, base radius, big height, small height, the small radius,